Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm the Hanging Man. I am the fun-loving idiot you guys have come to know. Um, I wanted to do this as kind of an idea for something I like to talk about because I think a lot about kind of stuff like this, and I like the idea of having like a vlog style video. Something where I can talk to the people, maybe explain a few things. And this episode, which will be my first one, was talking about something a bit more serious, something I want to get out to people my age, people, try to help them, and that is depression and suicidal thoughts. And I know that's a very heavy statement, but these things need to be taken seriously. And a lot of people are dying every single year because they think, why should I be alive? I'm a terrible person, people hate me, no one loves me, all this stuff. And it's a terrible, terrible issue. I'm a funny guy, at least I try to be. I like to make jokes about stuff, but one of the few things I make jokes about is suicide because I was 2 years ago I was planning my own suicide. I think a part of that is because I have clinical depression, but there's also a lot of other things that went into it. So my goal here to you guys is, if this gets anything, it probably won't, it'll probably just stay this tiny little video, but if it does go anywhere, I hope to God this will help people understand that there are people for you. There are people out there that do truly care about you and want to see you succeed, want to see you get big, want to see you live your life. And if there aren't, there's millions of people on the internet who you can find and maybe you can try to connect with. There are outlets. There are ways to handle your suicidal or clinical depression, like in my case. That if that's medicine, do that. Suicide is not the answer. In fact, it's the worst outcome that you could possibly do. Now, the reason why I talk about suicide so seriously is because, as I said, I was planning on committing it. I actually wrote in a notebook people I wanted to thank for how much they cared about me before I was going to kill myself. And I decided while writing that, there's all these people who care about me, why should I kill myself? So even though I planned on killing myself December 31st, it's kind of a thing being like, I'm not going to make it to the next year. I burned that notebook the next day because I wasn't going to let myself kill myself that way. And I thought, well, let's start somewhere else. Let's not start at the suicide part. Let's start where it all really started. So, my name's Nick. It's nice to know you guys. Maybe you guys can put your names in the description. I thought I would tell you guys that, but I am 17 in a month. And let's start from the beginning. So, I've never been a very liked kid in my school. I'm honestly a hated kid at my school, if I'm being honest. I know very few people who like me, and the people who do, they're a lot like me. They're weird, they're kooky, they're hyper. A lot of people think we're annoying, and the few friends I have, I try to stay as close to as possible because I don't want to lose my friends. If I do, I'll be lonely at school. So in 7th and 8th grade, there was nothing really going on. I had started picking up on my instrument. I started becoming a musician a bit more. I started to find people I found enjoyable and, all that stuff. And I thought, whoa, 8th grade is going great. So 8th grade ends, and marching band, which is when I comes from a lot of people I honestly blame for my I genuinely think that I probably wouldn't even started thinking about the suicide attempt if these people didn't come into my lives. But there's 5 or 6 in particular. I'm gonna actually hide the name of a few of these people, but there are a few I'm not going to because I don't think a lot of these people have changed. And if they've tried to, I appreciate it, but so in marching band my freshman year, I was hated, like discreetly hated by everyone. And I think I know why, because I was kind of annoying and I was trying to be kooky and funny, all that stuff, but it didn't work out. And I would say over half of the people in the band, no, not even over half, over about 75% of the band people either didn't know me or hated me. That was the blunt realism of it. And a lot of people, I believe, who spread this were this, well, because I play the alto saxophone, I believe the people who spread this the most were the people named, I'm not going to name them here, but the alto section leader who I've actually made up with in recent years, an alto player who plays the bass and switched to tenor recently, actually. We've also made up, we're actually kind of friends now. Um, and the trumpet section leader who I wouldn't say we've made up with, but um, we don't really interact anymore. So there's three individuals I'd like to bring to attention here that um, I don't think have changed. And I've actually gone forward about speaking to this with a few people about how I was planning my suicide, but uh, their names are the only one I really want to mention here. Her name is Erin, and oh my god, she was she was so terrible to me. She would do things that basically came down to bullying at times, and she would say, she would yell at me for messing up parts of songs. She would yell at me for not doing footing correctly. She would do all kinds of mean shit to me that I couldn't understand as a freshman. And as the time went on, it just got worse. Some other people I'd like to bring into question here. I'm not going to say their names for the sake of keeping their identity sacred. Two individuals who were in my grade called me worthless, and they said the band would be better off without me. And I still kind of amazed. I'm doing marching band now. I'm actually going to be the section leader next year, but those people, I don't like them anymore. I never did like them to begin with, but I just don't think they're good people anymore. Like, I used to think, whoa, these people are cool, I need to be like them, but then I realized if I try to be like them, I'll be a terrible person too. But let's go back onto the case of what all happened. So, for almost the entirety of my freshman year, I was bullied by a lot of people. As I said, the two alto peoples, basically almost all of the alto section hated my guts. I thought, what's the point of even being alive anymore for a while? A lot of these people genuinely hated me for reasons that I couldn't even understand, and it made life really hard because I couldn't find friends for the most part. And I do have some people I need to thank, specifically Will Jim and Darth Vader and Giles. I'm not gonna lie, if those guys weren't around, I probably would have killed myself. They're a big part of it. But another person, which I'm not gonna put in a name because actually I will name him. His name's Drew, and another friend named E-Man. Those people probably saved my life, if I'm being bluntly honest about it. Those people, they helped me a lot. They made me feel appreciated among myself, and it made me feel like someone cared. And that was the big thing. It felt like no one cared for a long time. At the time, when school started, because marching band starts before school, I felt like no one loved me anymore. I felt like everyone hated me because I was getting bad grades in school. I was getting yelled at by my parents a lot. My brothers didn't want to hang out with me. And I felt lonely. I felt abandoned. And I felt like, what's even the point anymore? What's the point of putting up with all this pain when it could just be a lot more simpler, just or just get it over with? What's the point? And as I said, as I thought that to myself, there are these people who care about me, and my parents were just angry at me for not doing my schoolwork. I think a lot of the suicide thing's gone away, and I haven't thought about it at all since. And I'm very happy with myself that I did never do it, because I wouldn't even be here to tell you guys about it. something I'd like to say, I'd also like to tell you guys a few things that I think even just outside of it, because I still have clinical depression. Like I am clinically depressed, and that makes you sad. Not even just sad, just like unable to think properly or unable to be motivated. But I'd say a big part of being able to get all of this stress out, everything out, is a, well, what's it called? Event. Event. That's what it is. Event. If you want to survive your depression, you need a vent. And mine is music. Music is another thing that saved my life. I am not being facetious when I say this. If I didn't listen to the music that I listen to, I would probably be in a much worse state. Maybe not have killed myself, but music helped me, and it seemed to have helped a lot of other people as well. I'd like to tell you guys a few things about what you guys can do. First thing I'd recommend, if you guys are starting to have suicidal thoughts, getting depressed, talk to someone. Don't keep it bottled up. Talk to someone. If you need to, dial the suicide hotline. Don't kill yourself. Please. Please. The answer is not killing yourself. Suicide is the negative answer. Don't do it. It's not even just a crime anymore. It shouldn't be considered something that happens every day. It shouldn't be normal. Suicide is a terrible thing. Suicide is what kills most teenagers these days. It's the number one cause of death among teenagers. That's insane. Think about that. Thousands of teenagers are killing themselves every day because they're sad, they're depressed, they're lonely, and they have no one to turn to. My story going back, a lot of these people I've made up with. I talked to someone who I thought I needed to let them know. For me, it was a junior at the time. I let them know that I was having these thoughts, and they talked to everyone, and they said a lot of them apologized. The only one who didn't, the only person I genuinely hated, and I still genuinely do. Maybe not, hate's a strong word, but I genuinely don't understand them. They have told me, and tons of other people, they have depression. And I don't believe them, because they don't act like they do. Clinical depression is something that's very, not a lot. If you have clinical depression, you don't tell people. That's the one thing that you can tell if someone has depression. If they're being sad, they're acting lonely, and they're not talking. You need to talk to them. You need to. Because they are suffering. And they can't tell you because of the fact that they have depression. Because depression silences people and makes them silent. You can't hear their voices anymore because they don't want to talk. They can't. Depression does that to you. And I learned that the hard way. Once I talked to these people, almost all of them, besides apologized to me and even tried to make up with me. As I said, 2 of them even did. A lot of them either stopped talking to me or just understood that I was having problems and they stopped. And you know what? It helped. I've been able to become more confident with myself, and I've even made more friends because of it. I've learned a lot. And it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't know how to do. It's speaking up. Just say something. Anything. I know that it's scary, and I know a lot of people can't do it because they're afraid, but you have to. Another thing I'd recommend, as I said, getting an outlet. Getting an event or an outlet helps you a lot. That thing can make you understand or get rid of the feelings that you're having. For me, it was metal. Metal is like my number one vent in this world. It allows me to listen to things that I think about a lot, like death and tons of other stuff, but it makes me think this stuff is normal. And number 3, what's an easier way to put this? Know that people care. Know that they care. There is someone in this world that cares about you. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, there is someone who cares. For me, it was my friends and my grandmother. I'm not going to say her name, but if I had to thank anyone for who I am and who I've become, it's my grandma. She's such a sweet person, and she tries her hardest to not show that she has clinical depression as well. It's actually kind of a running problem in our family. And she showed to me she has clinical depression, and she's one of the happiest people I've ever seen. And she gets destroyed by people all the time, and to see that hurts me. So, knowing that she cared even though she was in pain, and my friends cared about me, I decided it would be a stupid idea to commit suicide. And I didn't. That's why I'm still here now. My story is a sad one. I've been ignorant, I've been stupid, I've been destroyed by people, I've been harassed by people daily almost. I still get the occasional thing where people try to call me out in the middle of class, and I've gotten used to it by now. I just don't even respond anymore. That's another thing to do. Don't respond to bullies. If they're trying to make fun of you, don't respond, because that's what they want. They want you to respond. If you respond, that gives them the thing that they want. Don't give them attention. I know that this video is a bit all over the place, and I'm probably going to upload it like this in a completely normal state so you guys can see all of what happened, but I want you guys to know that I care. If no one else does, I care for you. If you see this video, I care. I want you to know that someone on this earth cares about you. And even if I don't know who you are, if I can't see you, if I don't know you, I don't want you to die. I don't want anyone to kill themselves. No matter how terrible a person they are. Even Hitler killing himself wasn't a terrible thing. He should have just died a normal way. It was terrible that those people had to die by their own right. Killing yourself is the worst possible way to die, because it was done by your own hand. And that means that you either gave up or you just were tired of life. I hope this video helped you guys. It helped me to vent a little bit, because I've been thinking about this stuff a lot. Maybe I'll do more of these. I don't know what to tell. I hope this helped. I might make another one if I really do feel like talking about issues. I don't know what to title this now, but I hope you all have a good night. I'm gonna get some rest. Please, y'all, don't just know that someone cares for you. Please don't kill yourself. Please. I just want you to know that someone cares. Bye.